And here we go. Hi there, welcome to the KBeatBot podcast again. If you're here for the first time, welcome. If you're returning back, I'm sorry. The KBeatBot podcast is universally acclaimed as the worst podcast in the world. That was said by our good friend Julian Maxwell. And we will take that, thank you. Gillian has been in the news herself recently. Her lawyer on Wednesday says that she's been woken up every 15 minutes just to make sure that she's still breathing by the guards. Oh, poor Gillian. She's being monitored every 24 hours and is excessively searched. Do you want to know why that's happening? Do you know why she's in such distress? Because she still knows that the podcast is still going on. It's on episode number 6. Thank you very much. Sorry, Julian. Today is going to be an interesting one, a very interesting one actually, a little bit different than the usual. So quickly, what I'm going to go through today is I will be talking about the Pokemon controversy that went ahead. That was a few weeks ago with Dumb Money. Collectibles Guru, also kind of involved Logan Paul, and with that I will share with you just a quick conversation I had on Instagram with Collectibles Guru themselves, and primarily this podcast will be focused on that, and then I'll just go on to just say a couple of things about me having a mini mental breakdown during the week, and then finally we're going to switch it up with a game. We like to play games on this podcast, so the game is going to be, we're going to rename some Welsh villages on Wikipedia, essentially. Maybe not rename them, but we'll change their descriptions just to fuck up the Welsh system, a little bit. So, if you ever listened to this show before, you do know that we try and drink a beer every episode. And today we're going to be drinking the Beclouded Hazy IPA by Stewart Brewing. Which is an Edinburgh-based brewery apparently, and I live in Edinburgh, so I have no idea what this is or where it is. So that just shows you my knowledge. I decided to start doing a ratings system. So at the end of the podcast, I'll be giving a rating out of 69 for this beer. So make sure to remind me of giving a rating. I'm giving it a pour. It's quite cloudy. It's quite pale. Let's give it a taste. Oh, that's an interesting one. Let's get back into it. So, how are you doing? Are you doing okay? Are you surviving? It's getting fucking cold outside, isn't it? Christmas is coming up. You know, things are starting to get a little bit more stressful. You know that time of year where it's starting to get dark at about 2 p.m. There's no light from the earliest light we get is actually from 12 in the afternoon. So we've got the usual 2 hours of light coming. Christmas is coming, but I think we're all glad that this year, Christmas is coming, and it's going to be much more stressful this year. But what I've noticed is that the shops have not been so prominent with their Christmas decorations, with their advertising for Christmas. So I think I'm glad about that. Obviously, I'm very glad about COVID. Obviously, COVID is great thing to come to fruition here. But yeah, that's been great, isn't it? Just starting to get cold, putting the heating on, putting a couple of jumpers on. Actually, just reminds you as well, you don't have to listen to me ramble on for the first few minutes. If you want to skip to any part of the podcast, there is timestamps in the podcast, the description of YouTube there. So just go into the description of YouTube. I'll put in the timestamps there. I'll put in the beer I'm also drinking, and any references I'm going to use further on when I speak about this whole Pokemon situation. You should really tune into that because it's going to be quite interesting. Just going to quickly just go over some news that's been going around for the week. So tonight, the big news is that Mike Tyson is going to come out and fight Roy Jones Jr. Who is your picks on? That'll be tonight. They're both in their 50s. They're both going to I think it's going to be 6 rounds. My money is going to be on Mike. He's looking fucking ripped. I think he's 53? He's looking ripped. But I think it could go anyway. It's not as if there's a huge heavy favourite here. People are saying that Mike Tyson is the heavy favourite, but these guys have been out of boxing for quite a while. I think Jones Jr. retired only a few years back. I don't know too much into the subject, but so he might be a little bit sharper than Tyson, but it's going to be funny. It's going to be like a couple of dads just battering each other on the canvas. I'm sure they'll give it. I mean, they're both former professional boxers. I mean, they've both been world champions, so it's not going to be shite. It's going to be very good, but yeah, it's going to be a very interesting one to watch that. Another story is that basically with COVID, we're going to be allowed now to see your family between the 23rd and the 27th of December. So get your bookings ready if you have to go away home. I'm still deciding whether my family come to me or if I go down to see them. It will mean though the trains and buses and airplanes are going to be packed. This is going to be a bit of a problem, I think, but I don't really care. If I miss the bus or train, it's fine. I'll do Christmas by myself. I'm joking. I love you, Mum. On that, whilst this whole COVID thing is still, quite rife everywhere in the world, Nicola Sturgeon is now pushing for independence again in Scotland. We are represented by the SNP in Scotland, so they are a nationalist party. So it is understandable that they're doing this. However, do you think it's right to kind of bring this back into conversation? I don't know. But you remember, that's probably the only... Let's just talk about how good COVID is for just 1 second, because that's obviously the main talking point is how good COVID is. The good thing about COVID was it just distracted you all from the mainstream politics, especially from the UK. So before COVID, it was all about Brexit. It was all about the general election. It was all about who was going to be Prime Minister. So at least COVID has swept that aside. No one speaks about Brexit anymore. You might see a little casual article on the BBC News, but it's all about COVID, which is depressing, but it kind of differentiates, because we've had basically quite a turbulent time in politics the last 5-6 years. Well, actually, cap that. It's been almost forever. It's been turbulent, but more turbulent and more polarised at this time. So yeah, apparently the independence will be in conversation. Well, it's been in conversation for a long time now, but she's pushing for that already. So this will be a fun next 2021. Well, that beer is it's interesting. Yeah. Finally, in the news this week, Diego Maradona passed away on Wednesday from a heart attack. He was 60 years old. Now, R.I.P. Maradona. I know he was a great footballer. I know he beat England and everyone. Was it England? Yeah, they beat England. Sorry, with a hand of God. Everyone in Scotland loves him. But am I the only one who just is in awe of how he reached the age of 60? Because that guy was a complete rocket his whole life. I mean, he was literally king cocaine. So I'm quite surprised he made it to 60. I think even my mum put a tribute up to him on Facebook, which I don't know if she knows anything. I think she might have thought that was Madonna that died, but I don't know. We'll put that there. But yeah, rest in peace. Some funeral directors in Argentina were taking pictures of his body when he was still in the coffin, weren't they? That's pretty shat. But Argentina is a mental place anyway. I think they're highly Catholic over there, so they kind of, when someone does something extraordinary, such as Madonna, Evita as well, you remember her, they are worshipped as an absolute god. And you can see the pictures from Buenos Aires that people were just distraught in the streets and crying, and I understand he's a hero, but you just wouldn't see that kind of same reaction. I think here, although it is football, so you never know. That might be it might be worse if I think David Beckham died. Maybe the streets of Manchester would be, surrounded. Well, actually, you know what? Maybe Steven Gerrard. If Steven Gerrard died, Liverpool would stand still for 2 years, I think. But anyway, that's the news caught up with you. Let's just get into the main topic of the day, shall we? Okay. So we're going to be talking about Pokemon cards. Now, some of you would be like, Pokemon cards? What? Do they still exist? Yes, they very much do, and they're starting to make a comeback. Okay, and this is because of a prominent YouTuber called Logan Paul. Well, he's one of the forefront celebrities basically taking this back on. So I'm going to give you a bit of backstory on the situation and what happened, and then I'm going to talk about the conversation I had with Collectibles Guru. It wasn't a conversation, it was a DM that I had with him, and I asked him a couple of questions about the whole situation and what his take was, because I think we'll go through all of it there. Okay, so first of all, let's start off with Logan Paul, just to start off the whole story here. Logan Paul is a very prominent YouTuber, very prominent internet celebrity, and he's also a mainstream celebrity as well. He has over 22.5 million subscribers on YouTube. He's based out in LA. He's well known all around America. He's basically the most famous American YouTuber and celebrity, and he's known from LA to the forests of Mount Fuji. That's an inside joke if you get that. He's been in countless episodes on TV, so he's been on TV, he's been in films, and he's also most famous probably for having a boxing match, the 2 boxing matches against KSI, who's a very prominent YouTuber in the UK and also now a rapper. So Logan Paul is a big deal in the internet community, and over the last couple of months he has wanted to start collecting Pokemon cards. Now, if you don't know too much about Pokemon cards, as I do not know anything about Pokemon cards. So I'm going to basically talk about this as someone who's just done some research on this situation and make their interpretations. I could be wrong on some of the things I say, but I'm trying to make it as simple as possible for me to understand and for you as the listeners to understand as well. Because I have no fucking... I couldn't even tell you the difference between a Pidgey and a Charizard. I don't know. Okay, I do know, but that's basically how limited my knowledge is. But I'm going to be talking most about the situation itself, so it won't really involve too much information about Pokemon. So Logan Paul wanted to invest in Pokemon cards, which Pokemon has been around now for quite a long time, over 25 years. As will be discussed with the conversation I have with Collectibles Guru. Now, Logan Paul decided to buy a first edition box of Pokemon cards. I think it's a booster edition base box. I'm not too sure. I would like to get clarification on that, but again, I didn't really understand the terminology that was going on there. You can call me a dumbass all you want. But he wanted to basically buy a first edition, booster edition base box, which is basically when the cards were first produced to come out back 25 years ago. So I think of this as almost like a first edition of a book. So such as if you got a first edition of Oscar Wilde's Dorian Gray, that would be worth a lot of money now than it would be back in the 19th century. If you understand that? I'm sorry if you're a young child, you're like, who is Oscar Wilde? First of all, start reading books, and second of all, yes, I am a boomer. That's my go-to. So that's how I think about it. So if you think about you were to release a book today, so say Logan Paul was to release a book today, that book, first edition, would be worth much more if it was rare 50 years from now than say a 10th edition, which would be the same book but it was just printed again. This is kind of the same concept, I think, with Pokemon cards. So these Pokemon cards are first edition. It was when they're first produced in the booster base box, edition box, and he bought this online. Now, this brings into it some economics of what's happened here. Because Logan Paul is a very prominent celebrity and he started to collect Pokemon cards again, he bought a first edition base box. I wish I could say that. Maybe I can put a first edition FEBB, so a Feb. We'll call it a Feb. So he decided to buy a Feb online. I think it was on some auction for $200,000. Now that sounds like a lot of money, and it fucking is, but that's how much he bought it for. And basically what you do is you buy the box, and in it will be packs of cards, and those cards can vary in rarities. So you can get ones from say a Bulbasaur, which is, I think, like not a rare card sorry about the terminology here, to a Charizard, which is I think one of the rarest cards you can get, or a Scyther. I think that's my Pokemon knowledge to basically stretch out there. So you have different cards which have different rarities, and they can vary because of their rarities in money. So one can be $1,000 to one that can be $25,000-$30,000. So it's a lot of money on play here. Now, for Logan Paul to basically understand and get this all sorted out, he hired a guy called Collectibles Guru, who's going to be very important in this story. So remember his name, Collectibles Guru, or CG, or I'll call him Vin Diesel for obvious reasons, which will be later on discovered. But we'll call him CG. Actually, I'll just call him Collectibles. Sorry, I should have prepared for this more, but it's fine. So Collectibles came in and basically helped Logan Paul value the cards that were in the box that they sold, that they bought, and he received a little bit of controversy from this. Not too much, because the controversy was, there was one example set up by that there was a Bulbasaur, which is, I don't know, but I think it's not such a rare card as a Charizard, and he gave quite a vague set of estimates of how much that value was. So I think he said $10,000 to $20,000 to $30,000, when I think in actual fact the actual real value is about $1,000 to $2,000. I checked that online. It does vary every day, so it could go up and down, but I think around about $1,000 to $2,000. So you got a little bit of abuse, you got a little bit of criticism for that, but all in all, Logan Paul was happy with the service, and they still work together, I think, to this day in collecting Pokemon cards. But this is where this builds the building blocks of what's going to happen next. So Collectibles becomes quite well known because of Logan Paul's influence, because that he knows, so he has such a big reach. People now talk to Collectibles as a major Pokemon dealer, because that's what he does. So other YouTubers decided to hire him to get these rare Pokemon edition boxes. So what happened next was Collectibles was basically drafted in from a YouTube team called Dumb Money. Yeah, the name is exactly what their practice is. They spend a lot of money on dumb shit. Now, Pokemon cards, I'm not going to say it's dumb shit. I think actually, for what's happened here, it's actually could be an investment to look into. But again, we'll look further into this later on. So Dumb Money are a bunch of YouTubers who have a lot of money, and they just like to spend it on unique and dumb things, essentially. And they hired Collectibles Guru to get them a first edition booster edition base box. Sorry, first edition booster box. So I'm reading this some words I've got here. I don't know, but I'm just looking into this. And they did a live stream where they would do the trade. So they would trade money for the booster box. Now, as I said before, Logan Paul bought this booster box for $200,000. That was only a couple of months ago. Because of Logan Paul's outreach and because of his influence, he was able to influence the market to basically push prices up because the demand exceeded the supply, and so the boost box almost doubled in value. And dumb money were going to pay $375,000 altogether for this booster box. Now, I don't know what the breakdown of that would be, but obviously Collectibles Guru would be someone that goes, finds the booster box from someone, and that can be from a collector, a company, a shop, anyone that has a sealed booster edition box. They find that, they trade that for money, which they then pay to, which they give to dumb money who pay for that, essentially. So he's a dealer. He's a Pokemon dealer, essentially. I should have said that before. So they hire Collectibles to bring this box on the live stream. Now, this is where things and the big controversy has started. I'll link the live stream in the description also, and I'm going to talk about the comments made about it. So the live stream itself is a little shady. Now, it's not shady on Collectibles Guru's part just yet. It's shady on both sides, but basically the live stream is a surprise because these guys are all sitting down, they're waiting for Collectibles to come, and it's set up in a way where it looks like the Last Supper for Jesus and his disciples, all 12 of them sitting around. Is it 12 or 13? 13 altogether, 12 disciples. So it's quite shady. The video itself is I think filmed on a potato. It's very shady. They've got some kind of security guard in the corner who looks like a 15-year-old child in their dad's uniform. So it's something a little bit dodgy about the whole setup itself. However, that's not the problem. The problem is when Collectible Gurus comes along, and he comes in and he is, number one, not aware that it's a live stream. It would seem. The live stream is going on. There's obviously a camera. It's quite far away from the table as well, so you can't really see too much of the cards. You just see like the people and a table, but you don't really see the individual objects. They're quite far away. So he comes on and he's kind of surprised that it's live. I wouldn't say surprised, but he kind of questions it. He goes, "You want to open the box right now?" And the guys say, "Yes, we do, yes." And they have a couple of Pokemon experts there. So Collectibles, when he realizes that this is on a live stream, it looks like that he is projecting a little bit about how boxes can be faked, that they can be counterfeit, and that he talks about the box itself, that it's a brand new box. It came from a gun safe, who basically someone put this box in a gun safe with two other boxes, stacked them on top of each other, and that there was indentations in the box. That might mean that shows those indentations are from being stacked in the box. So he looks like he's making a narrative already before they've actually opened it, essentially. But we'll get onto that a little bit later on about why he might have done that. So it comes to the actual unboxing, and to everyone's surprise, they open up the box, and the box has already been opened, and it's been replaced with not first edition cards. The cards in there are not first edition, they are different editions essentially. So they've put in cheaper cards essentially and taken out the expensive rare ones. This essentially makes Collectibles Guru look bad because it looks like he's trying to scam dumb money out of $375,000 sorry. And there's a little bit of a dodgy kind of part where Collectibles Guru has a phone conversation with the seller, and it looks like it's fake. I don't know, we'll never know if that's a fake conversation, but it looks like it's fake. And they basically say, look, we'll get this sorted, we'll talk to the seller. So this is the controversy, essentially, that Collectibles Guru has tried to scam these guys out of their money by giving them a fake box of Pokemon cards. Now this is worth $375,000. This is a lot of money online. It was also on a live stream, as I said before, and there was comments from people who were watching saying that Collectibles Guru is a scammer, and why have they hired him. But they've not been justified. There's no evidence of that on the stream. It's just people, I think, saying comments. But this kind of encouraged a backlash afterwards of the live stream. So after this live stream happened, and this was about a month ago, a lot of the online community, even some newspapers and online articles, caught wind of this and started to analyse the stream itself and look at Collectibles Guru as well. So YouTubers such as Pay Money Wubby, Jarvis Johnson, Cabos, they all made a commentary on this and how Collectibles Guru would be, they think, they didn't point fingers and say that they are a scammer, that this was on purpose, and that they have basically tried to steal this $375,000, but they tried to put together evidence that this looks dodgy altogether. And this is where this conversation has started now on the controversy of, is Collectibles trying to scam these guys, dumb money, or is this a genuine mistake? Now, what I noticed from all this is that the YouTubers, they made videos about Collectibles and about the live stream, and they focused on the live stream, and yeah, I agree with it, the live stream does look a bit dodgy. There is definitely some shady actions there. However, it's nothing really too concrete that you can say, by the way, this guy is definitely a scammer. And the controversy continues in Collectibles Guru's reaction to YouTubers. So the YouTubers put out these videos, and some of these YouTubers have a far outreach. So Pay Money Wubby has over 1 million subscribers. So does Jarvis and Kava. So these guys have a big outreach to communities. And Collectibles took it upon himself to message these YouTubers directly and criticize them for their videos. Now, Collectibles did take some personal digs at some of these. So Pay Money Wubby, I'm going to be very kind here. He's not the slimmest guy. He's a good-looking guy though. He's funny. I actually love Pay Money Wubby. I think he's actually a really funny guy, but he's not the slimmest guy. Collectibles Guru decided to message him personally and say, hey, are you the fat YouTuber, blah 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 blah, go on Atkins. And there's a whole kind of dialogue between him and Pay Money Wubby, because they both message each other on Instagram. So he kind of got quite personal with them in his response to them, saying that he's lost money as well. He's lost $55,000 as well out of the transaction. And this kind of this idea of money with Collectibles is something to hold on to when we're looking at this conversation that I had with him momentarily. I am coming to the conversation, sorry, I'm just trying to get a bit of a background to what's going on. So you had this backlash from the online community, and Collectibles is responding to them in a way which it doesn't put him in a good light. I'm not going to be kind here. It doesn't put him in a good light. It puts him in quite a childish, kind of aggressive light, and taking things a little bit too personal. So I thought, that's it over and done with, but people are still talking about it to this day. And I saw that none of the YouTubers really reached out to Collectibles himself first before they made any videos, before they make any criticism. I think when you have to criticize someone or you have to analyze something, you have to go to the source. You have to go to the person or the object, or look at the event itself. So you can look at the live stream, and you have 3 players here. You have the live stream, you have pay money, the live stream, which are the viewers, you have Collectibles Guru, and you have Dumb Money. So the viewers can see what's going on, which they can see absolutely everything, which the other two may not be able to see, because there's a whole TV screen that's covering everything. Collectibles Guru is the guy who comes along, he's the dealer, he has the product in hand, and he knows what's in that, and how it's got from A to B or B to A. So he is the transition between Dumb Money, who are basically the player in which pay the money for them to receive the product. So that's the transaction. Collectible Guru is the seller, Dumb Money is the buyer, and the live stream is the witnesses. But these YouTubers took criticism on Collectibles Guru because he was seen as a scammer out of all this, which is understandable, but they never directly reached out to him because he is he's the catalyst in all this, and they only talked to him after their videos was made. So on a drunken Wednesday night, I thought, fuck it, go straight to the fucking source, because I saw another video about this Collectibles Guru about, I think on Wednesday. I thought, what, you know what, I'm gonna try and reach out to him. I'm gonna do a little digging myself, and that I did. I was watching the interview yesterday, and as James Franco says, the key rule of journalism is give the people what they want. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put some pictures up here of the conversation I had with Collectibles Guru, and I didn't think that it would get this far, but this is what we had to say, and this is what he had to say as well. So just make point of what he says. I think there's a few things there we can take away from it. So please note the time that I messaged him. First of all, I DM'd him on Wednesday at 9:58 p.m. UK time, by the way. Okay, so for him, I think he said he's in Florida, so that would be what, 5 hour? I think it's 5 hour difference. So that's about why am I saying 3? 5 take away from 10 is 5. So that would have been about 5 p.m. his time. Okay. Let me remind you, on Wednesday night I was still on holiday, and I was half a bottle of gin down. Okay, I just thought, you know what, I'm going to give him a little DM. I'm going to see what happens. I thought it'd be cheeky, kind of like when you text a girl that you want to fuck, but you're drunk. So you thought, you know what, I wouldn't do this if I'm sober, but I might send her a, what you doing? Not that I've ever done that. Every night. Okay. Let's go through this message. Apologies, I'm just getting the I'm so... Please wait. Okay, cool, got the message here. Okay, so I'm just going to go through each of the messages here. So Wednesday night, 9:50, I send, hi Collectibles. Number one, this guy doesn't, I don't know what his name is. I have no idea what his name is. So Collectibles, if you're listening, I'd like to know your name as well, please, brother. Hi Collectibles. I run a small podcast called the KBeatBot podcast, and we'll be discussing the Dumb Money live stream situation, which happened a couple of weeks ago, and just wondered if you could quickly give your take on the situation in a DM and a couple of questions our listeners have. Do you like that I lied already in the fucking first message? Okay, number one, I run a small podcast. I think small is exaggerating. I think it's the smallest and worst podcast in the world, but we'll run with it. We'll run with it. And then second of all, our listeners have. Okay, that's a lie, isn't it? I mean, plural listeners. No, listener. Okay, thanks, mum. So that's a couple of lies I've already sent him. Thank you for your time. Regards, Kelvin. Okay, I put my name. I unexpectedly get a reply from him. Now this shit my pants a little bit, because I sent this DM out of the blue. I had no idea what was going on. I was like, you know what, I'll send this out of the blue. I'm half cut. Let's send it. I send a message to him. I didn't expect a reply at all, but here we are. So he replies at Wednesday 11:15. Yes, of course, what can I help you with? Now, he's also love-hearted my message here, so I'm thinking that this could be a romance brewing, but later on that. I love-heart his message back because at this point I'm love-hearting everything. I'm on Tinder, I'm swiping everything. I think I'm talking to a bird on Tinder at this point. Now, also to take into fact, I wasn't expecting a fucking reply from him, okay, because I'm a small ass podcast, I've got like 10 followers on Instagram, I'm not expecting anything, so I had no questions ready, nothing at all. So I was a bit starstruck, but I was a little bit like stuck there, like going, oh shit, I need to come up with some questions. So I don't even remember if I'm speaking to this guy at this point. I text my friend Joe, who was actually on the podcast episode 4. So if you want to check him out, it's a funny guy. I text my friend Joe. I say, Joe, I have no idea what the fuck's going on. I'm texting this guy who's working with Logan Paul, his Pokemon dealer. What the fuck do I say? Joe was really helpful with what he said next. He said, hey man, I'm stoned as fuck. I can't help you. Thank you, Joe. So I came up with these questions within, I think, 30 minutes, and I was absolutely blootered, so I don't even remember what I fucking sent. But I wrote them up on the computer, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to be a journalist. I'm going to ask some really penetrating questions, but in a Louis Theroux style, in that I want to be as nice as possible, but with a penetrating intent in the question. Does that make sense? I don't know. So I reply, thank you so much for your response. Really appreciate it. As I said, it's just a couple of questions which are not to point fingers at you. Number 1. You have had some backlash recently from the online community about the live stream with Dumb Money and with the first edition base set box opening. I had to Google that because I had no idea. We just want to know, we just want to know, because I'm a collection of people. We just want to know, what was the process for you acquiring the box from the gun safe seller to actually presenting it on the live stream? We think that's just where some people still have questions. And that is true. I remember seeing the videos by Pay Money Wubby, Jarvis and Cabos, is that they didn't really discuss or look into how they acquired this box. They didn't look into how this box was acquired, because Collectibles Guru doesn't have the boxes. He goes out and looks for them. He's a dealer. He's someone who looks for them, gets them, and then gets them to the customer. And I think that's a very important point. So Drunk Kelvin was on one right there. So well done, Drunk Kelvin. 1 point for Drunk Kelvin. Number 2. Is this normal for Pokemon cards to be tampered with whilst acquiring such rare card boxes? Again, I had to do my research. I don't know if it's rare or not. Especially coming from third parties, in this case the gun safe seller, and if so, is it expected that boxes and cards can usually come back as being counterfeit in your experience of the industry? Now, for me, understanding the logic of that question, I really could have shortened that question down a little bit more. Essentially, I'm just saying, is counterfeit boxes normal in dealing with Pokemon cards? But Kelvin was very drunk at this point. It was past 12 o'clock in the morning. It was 12 o'clock in the morning at this point on Thursday morning. So I wanted to sound as professional as possible with my investigated journalist skills. Number 3. We do know that this was rectified, as has been stated by Dumb Money and yourself, within 40 hours. I think that's very important, actually. I didn't mention that before. They did get the correct box rectified afterwards. I don't think it was 40 hours. I think it was within a week. They did another live stream. Collectibles Guru got the correct Pokemon cards. So that is true, that Collectibles Guru has cleared his name there. I forgot to mention that, but that's very important. Please note that. So they got the box sorted. Okay, back with Dumb Money. Again, there was some questions about why it took so long, but they got it sorted. That's very important to note. So within 40 hours, is there anything additional you would want to say to people who call you a scammer? And why do you think people would call you that, seeing as you did resolve the situation altogether, and Dumb Money walked away happy with the transaction overall. That's been the big criticism that they've had. So I wanted to ask that, essentially, because I wanted to see what they thought about that. Rather than actually being called a scammer and not have a reaction to it, what do they think? Why do they think that? I got some banging questions there. Unfortunately, it's going to be completely ruined by the next one and last one. Bit of a cheeky one here, number 4. But some of our fellow listeners, again plural fellow listeners, there's only one listener, thanks Mum and Stephen. Just Stephen, sorry. Some of our fellow listeners want to know, how do you keep your head so fucking shiny? I'll put a picture of him up quickly just here. He is bald. He has a very shiny head, and a lot of people have been commenting on that. So I just thought, what, keep it cheeky, keep it light. How do you keep your head so shiny? Do you use any products you can recommend? Maybe we can get a sponsorship deal. You don't have to answer but thought, why not anyway? Thank you so much for taking your time to answer. I really do appreciate this. Kind regards, Kelvin. Okay, I was keeping it professional. I was keeping it kind. I didn't think I'd get an answer. I went to bed at this point, and I woke up in the morning, and I did have an answer. And I got one from him. No finger pointing taken. Let me formulate some responses when I have a minute to sit down. This I respected a lot. I actually respected this response from him, because I think when he responded before to other YouTubers, it was kind of out of the moment, very spite of, kind of maybe a little bit of anger, because there's a lot on the line for him here. He's got a lot to lose in that. His reputation, his name is blowing up all over the internet community. So I respected for this from him. I thought maybe he would sit down and formulate the answers, and you know what, he actually gave me some decent answers. We'll see later on. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Then he texted me again in the afternoon on Thursday. It says, I'll answer these questions during a quiet moment today. I respond saying, yeah, no problem, it's very kind of you. Again, I'm keeping it sweet. I'm honeypotting him, okay? Again, a lot of the interview film references here. I didn't get a response from him on Thursday, so I thought maybe, he'd done the classic ghosting me, which I would have been happy with. I had a conversation with him. He's now my best friend, okay? But I thought, what? Friday, I thought, I'll give him a little nudge just to see, and if he doesn't respond, then we'll leave it there. Hi Collectibles, I still don't know your fucking name, by the way, but hi Collectibles, just wondering if there's any update on the questions I sent you. Thanks, Kelvin. I got a response pretty quick after this, and this is what he had to say. To question number 1, I bought it at the airport in Philadelphia from a middleman named Brian. He sold it on behalf of Don. Brian and Don, great names, love those names. The photo from the day I bought it 2 months ago is on Instagram with Brian tagged. Don promised it was Don promised it was fake. That'd be the end of the story. No, Don promised if it was fake, he'd refund the full purchase amount. Okay, so he's basically explained to me there that there was 2 other parties involved before him. So the middleman was being known as Brian, and this actually checks out. I did search his Instagram, and he meets a guy called Brian. I think his last name's Walsh, and they have a deal with Pokemon cards there. So this is from 2 months ago. So this checks out. So the middleman was Brian, and he sold it on behalf of Don. Okay, so Don was the original owner of the cards. Brian had the box of cards as well, who basically dealt it to Collectibles Guru. So basically we've got 2 dealers, and Don was the original owner of the cards. So there's been 2 switch of hands essentially before Collectibles Guru here. So that explains that part there. Do we believe him? I actually do. That does check out to me. I did check his Instagram. Does it mean that Collectibles Guru is innocent in that part? I mean, it doesn't make him innocent, but that does back up that there was a switching of hands before him as well. Also, let I also point out as well that the YouTuber Pay Money Wubby had a half-hour phone call with the gun safe seller, and that checked out as well, which I think would be this guy Don. I think Don would be the guy gun safe seller. It says that checked out as well. So they all kind of cover each basis here, so we have to take his word for it here. I'm going to take Collectible's word for it here and say this is legitimate. This is a legitimate trade here. Number 2. So if you remember, this is normal for these kind of situations to happen if they can be counterfeit. You answer quite a short answer here. People are paying $2,000 for an open first edition box. Now I know why. This is a very common practice and why I don't deal in sealed product anymore. I'm a little bit confused on what he means by that there. So people are paying $2,000 for an open first edition box. Now I know why. I don't know how to really break that down. Maybe you guys who are listening can help break that down for me. This is very common practice and why I won't deal in sealed product anymore. So I don't know what he's saying there. I don't know if he's saying that maybe the last deal with Dumb Money was the last sealed product he's going to do. $2,000 for an open first edition box. I mean, is that for the actual box itself maybe that people are looking at? Because obviously if if it's gone from $375,000 to $2,000, people are just trading cards in that box anyway, aren't they? They're just going to put any any cards they want in the box and sell the first edition. So I'm a little bit confused on that there, but I'll hold it to you. If you're a Pokemon expert, that probably makes sense to you. For me, I think I get it, but please let me know if I have not got it. Okay. Number 3. This is quite the big one. This is the big one I think that would be the most talked about. Number 3, and this is where we say why would you be called a scammer. I think people call me a scammer for a multitude of reasons. The Tom Brady impact on a smaller scale. If you are the best or at the top of any niche, you will always be hated by the 95%. Okay, so just to break it down just quickly here, from what I can see here, he's referring to himself as Tom Brady. Now, this is a British podcast, unfortunately, okay? So a lot of people might not know who Tom Brady is. I have very limited knowledge of Tom Brady, but I do know that he's a quarterback. What was the team called? Is it the... Sorry, is the Patriots? The Patriots? He was he was the quarterback for the Patriots. Now, I should know more about Tom Brady because I was actually in LA in 2017 when the Patriots beat the Falcons and they came back from that extraordinary final. I think it was a 28-3 deficit. It was amazing, and to be honest, that was one of the most fun nights I've ever had in LA. LA is a shithole, but in LA I was in a bar and it was packed. It was absolutely fucking rammed. And everyone in there were Patriot fans. Don't ask me why. That's what they were. And they, when they started to come back, the vibe of the bar just went up, and it was crazy. It was mental. And when they won the game, beer was spilt everywhere. It was insane. I was getting hugged by all angles, even though I had no fucking idea what was going on. Football for me. Football in Scotland and UK is soccer, guys. It's football. It's where you kick a football around. But American football is a different game. But yeah, he's referring to himself as Tom Brady, who is considered as one of the greatest quarterbacks in American football ever to have lived. I think he has like 6 Super Bowl rings. Quote me if I'm wrong. So I think he's referring to himself as the greatest Pokemon dealer. I think, yeah, the Tom Brady smaller scale. So smaller scale. So he's like a smaller scale Tom Brady. Tom Brady's a big guy, so yeah, I think you would put yourself there. And you always be hated by the 95%. Okay, that I can understand. You know, if you're the best at something, you are going to have the haters because people who are not successful will naturally go for a negative approach to people who are successful. So let's move on with the message. And 2, 99% of haters are trolls with 0 posts and an avatar for a photo, or they are a abbreviations are great, but they are a YouTuber whose influence is 1% of Logan's, and they are jealous of what Logan is able to do. Okay, let's break that down for a second now as well. So 99% of haters are trolls with 0 posts and an avatar for a photo. Sorry to tell you this, Mr. Collectibles, but my Instagram has 6 posts and about 12 followers. So sorry about that. My YouTube is even worse. And they're YouTubers who influences 1% of Logan Paul's. Logan Paul is there's a couple of things to take away from this. Yes, I can understand that, you know, haters will definitely not have a bigger outreach than Collectibles himself, but also Logan Paul. So that is definitely understandable in what he's saying. It seems like he's taking a little bit of an ego trip here. I don't really. I can understand he's got a lot of haters. I can understand that because people are seeing the scam itself. But I don't think that it's relevant to say if they've got 0 posts or an avatar or a pig or a dildo as a photo. I don't think that's very important. So I think maybe what he's trying to say there is there are people that are not important. You know, they're, as would be anyone who's on the internet. You know, when something happens, it could be something positive happening. So you take a new sponsorship deal and that pays you a lot of money. You're still going to get haters for that because people won't agree with that company. They won't agree with you making more money. People always criticize anything you do. So I'm going to give him the benefit of doubt on this. I think he's just not communicating it in the right way. But yeah, I don't agree with the way he's saying it, but I kind of get the message he's saying. To the second part of this is the YouTubers of 1% of Logan Paul's. Factually, that's not true. Logan Paul has 22.5 million. A lot of these YouTubers have over 1 million. I think even Keemstar mentioned this. He's over 5 million. So they've got huge outreach. Logan Paul is definitely a huge star. There's a couple of things here is that he's kind of saying that they're jealous of what Logan Paul is able to do. Logan Paul has definitely had his critics and still does have his critics, because he's been in some very controversial situations, such as the most obvious one is the suicide forest, where he found a dead body and filmed it. That is obviously going to garner a lot of criticism, and he does have his haters, as does his brother, who's the less said about him the better. But the haters and the people who are posting aren't going after Logan specifically. I think they're going after Collectibles. So I think he's taken that away from that. They think that it's about Logan and not about him, which I don't know if he's trying to divert there. I don't really see that. I think it's that message itself is a little bit mixed. I don't know what else to break down really from that, but essentially I think what he's saying is that people who are criticizing, calling him a scammer, are not relevant to him and not relevant to his business, which to be honest, everyone on the internet that has critics should take that approach. I just don't think it should be so maybe personal, maybe as critical as saying, you know, they've got 0 posts, or, you know, if they're fat, or if they, you know, they don't have such influence. Those things aren't important, you know. But I'll semi agree with him there. I don't like the way he said it, but I'll semi agree with him. Second part, but I've never scammed one person and still have $10,000 to $50,000 in sales weekly. This is very important. He is very money focused. Now, a lot of people say that's a bad thing. It's not a bad thing to be money focused. It's really not. Okay, don't ever take that. If someone says if you're money focused, if your life is all about money, okay, fine. If it's all about money, fair enough. I'm not going to take it as a criticism, but you should never be criticized for going after big deals, going after money. It should never be. Is it shady? It can be shady, but end of the day, if you're looking to better your life, you're looking to make more money so you can have a better life, have a bigger house, better car, there is nothing wrong with that, and never let anyone tell you not to do that. That's why a lot of people do these things. This is why they do Pokemon deals. This is why they do YouTube. This is, because I make millions of dollars a podcast. Did you know? And I'm not ashamed of it. I'm joking, obviously. I've never made any money, thanks to Marcus Chong. Evil. So 10 to 50k sales in weekly, and if I did, there's be buyers and sellers complaining. True. People want to treat Pokemon as a timid collector game with their childhood. That's cute. I treat it as an investment. Some people call profiting in a hobby you are turning into fine art scamming, which is bullshit because their hobby is 25 years old and is aspiring to a new level. So there's quite a lot of things we can break down from that message alone. So he is right. If there was a lot more people that he's done deals with, they would be outing him. It's just this one singular event that's kind of polarized everything here from him. This podcast is taking too long. Jesus Christ. Sorry guys, I'm gonna get through this as quickly as possible. Please, get yourself a beer and enjoy, or not enjoy and cry like I am. So he's saying that he's not scammed anyone. So there would be, I think, more notice on people that have been scammed before, such as, maybe like, let's not take it to the extreme of the Me Too movement, but something like that. When someone's been scammed and the word gets out, a lot more people start opening up about what's happening. But there hasn't really been anyone else that's opened up about being scammed by this guy, by Collectibles. I think also, just to take into consideration as well, if you were to scam someone and you're going to do it with a prominent YouTuber, so he's done it with Logan Paul and Dumb Money. Logan Paul, he wasn't done for scamming. He was just, he wasn't really criticised. He was just criticised about his valuations about 1 or 2 cards. With Dumb Money, again, Dumb Money is a prominent YouTube. They have a huge YouTube channel. So if he was to scam them purposely, he knows he's going to get found out. They're not going to just sit there and be like, oh well, we've bought this box for $375,000. We're not going to get this looked at. We're not, I don't think this guy is dumb. Collectibles is not dumb, and that he thinks he can get away with it. And with a scam, professional scammers and dealers, they will make everything perfect so it doesn't look like a scam. They will make everything perfect, so they won't just have a box that looks like it's been tampered with and given to the customer, and then the fake cards are in there. The scammer themselves would counterfeit the cards. They would find a new box. They would do, I think, different ways in which to scam the, oh sorry, the microphone's gone, sorry. They would do different things to actually try and scam them out of such, a lot of money. This is a lot of money we're talking about here. They're going to go to extravagant means to change those cards, to get that box across. So I do agree with him here that, I don't think he's purposely scamming people. And seeing as we looked at before, he's got this from 2 other guys, so this has changed hands a few times. So it's not a new box, it's nothing that he's tampered with, it looks like, allegedly. I like how he calls that's cute for a timid collector game. Again, he's treating this as an investment, so the monetary value of this is very important to him. He is in this for the money. Although he does say later on that he loves Pokemon. And he compares it to the fine art industry and dealership. Yeah, I agree with him there. I do agree with him there. It's maybe not to the level of fine art, but it could be in the future. I would again maybe compare it to books. So if you have first edition books from, if you got a first edition book from the 17th century, or let's just say Geoffrey Chaucer's Canterbury Tales, which was like from the 14th century, I don't think a first edition of that exists, but if it did, that would be worth a shit ton of money. That would be worth millions. I think it'd be the same for Pokemon and other such franchises, even though they're now more widespread. First editions will be definitely worth a lot more money in 20 years time, in 30 years time, especially if they've been unopened. They could be worth millions, as is a car or any product you think of, a bottle of wine. Just think of anything that is tangible. So you compare it to fine art, yeah, we'll give him that, yeah, I'll give him that. Which is bullshit because their hobby is 25 years old and is aspiring to a new level of value. He's not wrong there, you can't argue that. Now for the the wild card question. And the shaved head, number 4. You have 4 shaved heads? No. I've had the receding hairline mid-20s and thought it was fugly, fucking ugly, and decided the Vin Diesel, the Rock look was a better choice. He's got a little bit of an ego, I think, to him, which is fine. You're a dealer, you're a salesman, you have to. He's comparing himself to Vin Diesel and the Rock, with the look, not comparing. Which if you're a bald man, just go for it. Just go for some balding. There's nothing wrong with shaving your head. There's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with it. Just embrace it, enjoy it, love your life. No products, just shaving every morning and living in Florida where it's humid as fuck. Okay, so yeah, I get that, I understand that. Shaving every morning though, can you imagine that? That's maybe why his head is so shiny, because if you shave your head every morning, your head is smooth. You have a smooth ass head, okay? And it's hot in Florida, it's humid, it's fucking hot there, even now it's hot. You're going to be sweating your ass off. Okay, just appreciate that he has got a little bit of sweat on his head, okay? Can we just appreciate that, please? Thank you, critics. Be well, brother. If you were curious, I am very nostalgic for Pokemon and have a personal collection. So, he does have a personal interest in Pokemon himself. He's not just a dealer, he has a collection himself, he says. Doesn't mean I can't hustle and profit. So again, this important aspect of it's about money, it's about dealing, it's about getting the best deal. Some people can't realise that and call it a scam, which is a joke. Not one of them had ever done business with me. Okay, so he's basically strong wording that he is in it for the money. He does love Pokemon. He's nostalgic for Pokemon, and he has a personal collection. So this is important to him. It is a passion for himself, and they've never done business with me. So again, we're kind of reflecting back in that he's not had complaints before about this. So far, I'm not accusing him. I'm not pointing fingers. I'm just saying, no one else has come forward from this. So I reply, I appreciate the honest answers there. As you say, this is your livelihood, which you clearly have a passion for investments and making big money. You clearly love Pokemon, also, as you said. So I'm just kind of summarising what he said there. He does want to make investments. He wants to make money, big money, and he does love Pokemon, as he said before. As I said, I will discuss this on the podcast tomorrow. That's today, as we are doing right now. Big Collectibles, if you're listening right now, I appreciate you replying to my messages. Also, can I get your fucking name, please? Can I call you your name? I looked him up on Google. If you look him up on Google, it comes up with a guy called Gary, but the pictures are of a very old man, so I don't think that's you, unless you're 75. Then we'll call you Gary. Let's call him Gary. With a balanced view, I just want to ask Gary to make it fair. With a balanced view, I just wanted to ask you to make it fair, which I do. I think that's the best thing, is to make it fair when you make an argument or a criticism or a thing. Keep up the Vin Diesel look. Maybe we'll be in the Fast and Furious 12 sometime. Haha. Thank you again. Take care. So I think he'll be in Fast and Furious 12, which is filming right now probably. And then he finishes off with, of course, I'm always transparent. People just don't take the time to ask, which is very interesting. So we've looked at the messages, we've looked at the live stream, we've listened to the evidence before and after. We've got to kind of analyze this on our own. I'd take it on yourself to look at the live stream itself, to look at the YouTube videos, and also to look at the conversation I had with him there. So here is the important part. What is my verdict on all this? It's a tricky one. It is a very tricky one. I think for a lot of people, they watch the live stream itself, and people have obviously taken a look at what he does. And again, I want to emphasize, this is from just this situation in itself. I'm not taking anything else into consideration. It's just from the situation itself, which has had the most attention. The situation itself is tricky to look at. The live stream was shady, to say the least, but it was shady on both sides, I would say, in that Dumb Money did surprise him that this was going to be a live stream, so that can make someone very nervous. You're in front of people, you're in front of the camera. Collectibles Guru has obviously been on Logan Paul, he's done all this, but again, you can surprise people if you put a camera in front of their face. I'm going to take that into consideration here. The way in which he acted was, again, a little bit shady. Again, you should say that, you know, this could be counterfeit when it opened before. He did kind of hint onto that. I do not condone that the way he responded to the YouTubers. And if you want, I'll link their videos in the description as well. Basically their videos, first of all, critiquing Collectibles, and also the responses that they got from Collectibles as well, or Gary. Let's call him Gary. This is a tricky situation which we have looked into, and basically, to summarize, I don't think he's scammed Dumb Money. I don't think he's a scammer. Now, the bias of that is, obviously, I've talked to him myself. I've had a conversation with him, just a quick DM, sorry. But it's just a lot of things that you're proven, you're innocent until you're proven guilty. He has basically said to me there that, you know, there's been 2 other people before him that have got the box. When you get that box, you can't analyze that box, because you can't open it up, because then you would lose the value instantly, like that. So you can't initially analyze that. He's already given the sources there of the people that he's dealt with. A guy called Brian, I think Don was the gun safe seller. So I'm gonna say he is innocent. He's not a scammer. I think he is misunderstood. I think because he has a passion for money and investment. I think because he's got an ego in him. He's got a very big ego in him, I would say, definitely. But that's not something that makes you culpable for, let's say, almost criminal views or a criminal act. I don't think he's a scammer. I'm not going to say that. I really don't think that. The way in which he dealt with the situation, maybe by messaging the YouTubers, so as I said before, Pay Money Wubby, calling him fat. Sorry, Money Wubby, if you're listening. You're not, obviously, but if you are, you're not fat. You are fat, but you're beautiful. You know, being personal, I think that's just the way in which he talks, and that's just the way he is. You know, he is a very, I would say, intense guy that wants to make a quick deal. No, actually, no, wait, not a quick deal. He wants to make a good investment, and his investment is Pokemon cards. And when something goes wrong, he's basically the main guy to everyone lays shit on. If you Google just now Pokemon dealers, it doesn't come up with anyone. It literally doesn't. So he's like literally the first person you're going to think of now of a Pokemon dealer. And because it's gone wrong the first time, or the second time, sorry, then, you know, a lot of shit is going to come his way. So I'm gonna settle this myself and say he's not a scammer. Now, that will be controversial with some people. People have their own views, and I respect that. If you think that he's, you know, he is, or you have any evidence, yeah, get in contact with me, let me know, and I can have a look into it myself. But yeah, I'm gonna say he's not a scammer. I really do appreciate him messaging me back. That was really nice of him to give me those messages and answering my questions, especially with the fucking shiny head. I really appreciate that, Mr. Guru, Mr. Gary. But yeah, he is not a scammer. But what do you think? Please comment on my Instagram. It's the KBeatBot podcast, or comment on the YouTube channel as well. give us a like. Just give me a message and say, what do you think? You might have fallen asleep by now. You might not fucking care. That's fine. But let me know, and we'll take it from there. But yeah, not a scammer in Kelvin's book. Anyway, let's move on to something a little bit more depressing. I was speaking to a girl on a website, on a dating website. No, what dating web? No, I'm not fucking 60. On an app called Tinder. Sorry. This is how it went. I matched with her on Wednesday. I got her number on Thursday, and then I got ghosted by Friday. Okay, that's how it works now. This is how it works. You get ghosted by Friday. So 2 days I got ghosted, and I just want to know, really, like, what is the current situation about sending dick pics on WhatsApp? Like, is that still like a yeah, no? Is that a no, yeah? Like, what is that? I'm joking. Okay, I would never send a dick pic after 2 days, maybe 3 days. Okay, so I'm just going to quickly talk about my MMB, which is my mini mental breakdown, and then we're going to go on to the game, or the fun part of the podcast. It's very fun though. So I had a mini mental breakdown on Tuesday. I've had a few days off because I've been on holiday from work, and I work quite a lot. I do work quite hard. I work maybe 60 hours a week. Well, with the job I had, 2 jobs I had, sorry. Currently I'm working about 45 with my current job at home, and I'm working at home, so it's fine. It's actually quite chilled out for me doing 45 hours, but I usually do 60. But when I get some time off, it's the first time I've had some time off since March, and being in like a restricted area of Scotland because of COVID and lockdown. It's not lockdown, but pubs aren't open. You can't just go on holiday, which I would usually do. I'd try and go on holiday to somewhere. I've just been by myself, just reflecting on me, and it gets to the point where you just kind of you're alone with your thoughts, and you just kind of sit there and just kind of you're alone with your thoughts and just go. You look in the mirror and just go, what the fuck are you doing? That's what I do. I literally wake up in the morning during this holiday, and now go to the toilet, have a piss, look in the mirror whilst I'm pissing, probably pissing on the toilet seat whilst I'm doing that, and just think, what the fuck are you doing? Why do you have a moustache? Why are you 32? And I think this is what a lot of people are struggling with mental health wise as well during this time. Is why what are we doing? Why am I working the job that I'm working? Why am I getting fatter? Why am I drinking so much? Why have I not achieved what I wanted to achieve as a child? Here's the ultimate question that I have for you, okay? And this is my life summed up in one sentence, okay? One sentence, this is my life, and this will tell you how tragic my life is. I'm 32 and I'm still using Snapchat. That is the tragedy of my life right now. I'm 32 and I'm still using fucking Snapchat. Does anyone use Snapchat anymore? Is it still around? Is it still alive? I mean, I send Snapchats. I don't get any responses. No one uses it. Everyone's dead on there. Why am I 32 and you're still using Snapchat? Can someone still, talk to me about that, please? By the way, if you want to follow me on Snapchat, it's Kelvin 22 pounds awesome. Just follow me there. Kelvin1. Kelvin is KELVYN. Kilo Echo Lima Victor Yankee November 1. Let's go to the game. Okay, I don't want to be getting depressed right now. We've all been talking too long, haven't we? Okay. What's the game you want to know? I came up with this game up last night. This beer is kicking my ass. What's that? The Be Clouded is 5.2. So it's like a little bit stronger than a lager, but it's not too bad. Right, what's the game, you're asking? Well, Calvin, The game I came up with last night was very simple, okay? Wikipedia. We all know Wikipedia, don't we? You go on Wikipedia and you search anything. Oh, pardon me. So you search anything. You search David Beckham, and it comes up with David Beckham, and one of the first things that will come up on Google will be David Beckham, Wikipedia. Wikipedia is one of the most used sources of information on the internet, okay? Now, the best thing about Wikipedia, and the scariest thing about it, is you can edit it. Anyone can edit it. You can do what the fuck you want on it. Now, back in the day when Wikipedia was barely managed by anyone, you could say what the fuck you wanted it and it would stay there for years, okay? One of my friends from uni said that he once changed as a child the Wikipedia page for David Beckham, God, again, and he changed it to David Beckham is an old Japanese man, and it stayed there for 2 weeks. So you would go on Wikipedia and it would say David Beckham is an old Japanese man. Now that cannot really happen now, okay, because there's so many bots, there's so many mods on Wikipedia that if you change anything on a very famous person or a well-known fact or any product or just anything on the encyclopedia, the mod will change it automatically, essentially. However, okay, what you want to try and do is change places, things which don't have mods or people monitoring them. And the best way to do that is to find little tiny villages in any country in the world and modify them to facts that you can put on anything. And for me, the best is to find little Welsh villages which have a population of, I'd say, below 100, okay? No one is monitoring those pages. They get monitored every 3-4 days, okay, I would say at most. And you can say what the fuck you want on there. I once altered my home village in Wales, where I lived for 9 years, to say that I was an academic, a scholar, and one of the best tennis players in the world. Okay, this is what I did, and it stayed up there for a while until one of my neighbours messaged me and said, "Is this you?" So what we're going to do today is, and I will put the names of the villages up. I'm going to change some descriptions of random villages, and I'm going to do it live on the podcast just now. So I'm literally going to make up some random shit. Now I've picked out 5 random villages because it would take too long if I'm looking for random villages. Okay. I'm going to go on Wikipedia. I'm going to change some random shit on there. Okay. So we've got 5 villages that we've picked. First one is called Llangeni. Okay, that's in the Brecon Beacons. Fun fact about Llangeni: that is very close to a village I used to live in called Llanbedr. That's a double L for both. Okay, and that is located in the Brecon Beacons. Okay, village number 2 is Henllan. Okay, which is the north of Wales. Number 3, we've got Llawry Glyn. Okay, that is in the west part of Wales. Next one we've got Tegrin, which I don't know what the fuck that is. I just literally found it on a map. And number 5 is Ogmore by Sea, which is in the deep south of Wales. Deep south of Wales, really in the Vale of Glamorgan. Okay. And I've got a numeric generator here. Where is it? Okay, so we've got each village is named 1 to 5, and we're just going to put a random fact in the description there. Just fuck it, why not? Maybe you can change the name. Let's first of all, I'm going to put Wikipedia here. So I'm going to put the links of each village, and if you want to check them out in the description as well. Sorry, there's so much in the description. Just check everything out in the description. So each village, we're going to change something about them there. And you can search it yourself if you go on the YouTube description. Just click the link and hopefully that will change. So live on the podcast, I'm just going to literally just change everything. So the numeric generator, we've gone on Google. The minimum is 1, max is 5. Starting off with number 3, we're not going to do number 3. We're just going to generate. Click generate. think. Okay, number 3. So number 5 is first. Okay, so that number 5 is Ogmore by the Sea. So let's go. First of all, Ogmore by Sea. Sorry, it's going to be a lot of silence here. I'm going to put some music on. Just 4 hours of relaxed music. No. Should we put Jeopardy on? Please entertain yourselves. Sorry, I didn't realise this would take so long. 10 hours Jeopardy music. Okay, we've got it here. Okay, Ogmore by Sea. Right, come on, give me one. Where's the Wikipedia of it? No, please. Yeah, we got it here. Okay. I don't know if I can do this. Right. Oh, you have to do it in HTML. Oh, shit. Okay. So, Ogmore by Sea is a seaside village in St Bride's Major in the Vale of Glamorgan, Wales. It lies on the western limit of Glamorgan. The population was, in 2011, was 878. Is that when the consensus comes out every one, doesn't it? Okay. So, Ogmore on Sea, let's change, is a seaside village in the... Oh God, is the home, is Ogmore by Sea is the home of Ghislaine Maxwell. Ghislaine Maxwell, known as the renowned pediatrician. Is that bad? That's bad. Renowned. I can't even spell renowned. How do I spell renowned? It's not even a word. We'll go with it. It's still a word. Pediatrician. Pediatrician. How do you spell? I am such a dumbass. Pediatrician. Sorry. And entrepreneur. I'm sure I'm going to start some wars here. Entrepreneur. So, Ogmore by Sea is the home of Ghislaine Maxwell, known as the renowned pediatrician and entrepreneur. It is a seaside village in... There we go. Easy. Cool. Done. How did you improve the page? Celebrity status. God, you have to answer all this. Publish. Please publish that. Please. Yes! Okay, so we have that altered to Ogmore by Sea, Welsh, meaning mouth of the river. Ogmore is the home of Ghislaine Maxwell, known as the renowned pediatrician and entrepreneur. It is seaside village. Oh, I fucked it. Alright. Okay, well, we'll leave that one there. I'll put the link in the description for that. So that's the first one done. Let's go back to the numeric generator. So we've had 5. Next one to go is number 1. Number 1. Which one is that? Oh, it's Llangeni. Oh no. Llangeni. This is really exciting, isn't it? But hopefully you're enjoying this. You're really not, are you? I might get in trouble for this one because I'm not saying like I know anyone in Llangeni, but I know people in Llanbedr next to it. My name as well on Wikipedia is called Some Guy Not Called Kelvin. So I don't know if you're going to know who Kelvin is, right? Llangeni. What? I've got 2 notifications. Who cares? Fuck. Right. I think this is quite close to mine, so we'll just do something about the pocket. The popular with hill walkers of camping and outdoor activities. The area is popular. Okay, so 3 features in Llangeni are the Grade 2 listed parish church or Saint and Coombe Barn, an old barn converted into accommodation. Well, let's change that. 4 features in Llangeni and accommodation. An old barn and Coombe Barn, an old barn converted into accommodation, and most prominently, the birth of the KBeatBot podcast, the daddy of all podcasts, as announced by by Ivanka Trump. This is some tiny village in Wales, and they're going to be like, what the fuck? Most prominently, the birth of the KBeatBot podcast. Okay, so 4 features in Llangeni are the Grade 2 listed parish church of St Canau, a public house, the Dragon's Head Inn, Coombe Barn, an old barn converted into accommodation, and most prominently, the birth of the KBeatBot podcast, the Daddy of all podcasts, as announced by Ivanka Trump. The area is popular with hill walkers and for camping and outdoor activities, including podcasts. What are we doing? This is literally my life. Why am I 32 with Snapchat? Right, okay, here we go. How do you improve the page? Celebrity endorsements. Do you think someone could sue me for this? I fucking could, probably. Publish. Please, 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 please. Yes! It's there. We've done it. Easy dubs. Oh, what's my life? Right, we've done 1 and 5, haven't we? So 3 is next. Okay. Number 3, which is Llawryglyn. As I said, this will be all on the description. So if you just want to check out these villages on Wikipedia and see if they have changed. Llawryglyn, small hamlet in Powys, Wales. Oh, it's in Powys. Oh, that's like... Okay, must be in the middle. Okay. Llawryglyn is a hamlet, Powys, Wales. It lies about 10 miles west of the town Newtown in the historic county of Montgomeryshire. What the fuck? It's changed very little over the past time. It's brilliant. Well, it's going to change now. What we say? As a Parliament agricultural country. However, it is most renowned. Why do I keep using renowned? It's most known for their local delicacy of Haribo Star Mix. What am I saying? Just the foam eggs. Okay. So Llawryglyn is a hamlet in Powys, Wales. It lies about 10 miles west of the town of Newtown in the counties of Montgomeryshire. It has changed very little over the passage of time, as it is primarily an agricultural community. However, it is mostly known for their local delicacy of Haribo Star Mix, just the foam eggs. Cow. Okay, let's just do that one. Okay. How do you improve the page? I sweetened it up. Yeah, we definitely have got the puns going. I sweetened it up. Published. Oh my god, it works well. Fantastic. Right, we've got 2 left. We've got 2 and 4. We've got Henlan and Terrigan. Hopefully the generator will give 5. No. Generate 4. Right, 4's next. Which one's that? Tegrin. I hope you're enjoying this. I'm gonna get fucking sued probably. Tegrin. So you should do this at home. You should literally just find some random villages in any country. So you're in Scotland, Wales, England, France, Iceland, Kazakhstan, fucking North Korea. Do it. It's fun. Right. What are we going to say about this one? Terragon is a hilltop linear village in North Pembrokeshire, Wales, in the community and parish of Clydau, and is the largest settlement in the community. Oh, it's a big town. Oh, it's got a description and everything. Oh shit. Okay, this one might get changed. They've got a description. Village pubs, post office. Okay, education. Worship. Okay, we'll change worship. Oh, Jesus Christ. There are separate doors for men and women. What? It was rebuilt and it had a membership of 3337. Okay, sorry, it's a lot of HTML here, so I'm just kind of just bear with me. This site of worship holds the ancient artifacts. What am I saying? Of the KBeatBot podcast streams, which have laid dormant. Oh my god, what am I saying? Laid dormant. God, I can't even spell podcast. Which have laid dormant for many centuries. Let's just leave it at that. Let's leave it classic. Okay. Okay, publish that. How do you improve the page? Worshipped better. Okay. Come on. So for Tegrin, which is a bigger village, I didn't realise it has a population of over 300 people. There's a subsection saying worship, and it says a Welsh independent chapel was established at Llyn i'r Chyrdd. Sorry, I wish I could speak Welsh more. Llyn i'r Chyrdd, to the south of the village in 1805. It was rebuilt in 1817 and 1846 and in 1873. How many times? It had a membership of 335. This site of worship holds ancient artifacts of the KBeatBot podcast streams, which have laid dormant for many centuries. I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you, Tegrin. Right, the final one. Henlan. Final one. What are we going to say here? What the fuck are we going to say? Most definitely it's going to have to be something bad. Alright, okay. Oh, this one's even bigger. What the fuck? That's 750 people. Oh, this will definitely not. This will not change anyway. Church and bell tower. Okay. Oh god, the HTML is doing my head in. A couple of my friends out there are doing coding at the moment. If you guys could help me out with this, I my HTML is terrible right now. I don't. Shit. I might have to deal with. Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Just give me a second. Okay, I've got you. Sorry, I'm just listening to. I'm trying to get this 13th century. Well, we'll just do it at the end. Henlan is most prominent for the loudest fart that caught wind in UK history. In 1969 in 1969 what's a Welsh name? David, which is David. David. Oh, actually, it could be David with DF. Yeah. David Draig, which basically means dragon. David Draig farted. It's the most prominent, the loudest fart. So loudly that dogs were deaf. No, so loudly that the bell tower shook its foundations and almost collapsed due to the due to the winds. I don't know what the fuck I'm saying. Due to the western winds produced. That makes sense. That doesn't make sense. Right, we're just gonna publish it. Fuck it. How do you improve the page? Weather, climate. Oh shit! I'm gonna be in trouble for this. Climate agreement. Climate knowledge. Right. Henlan. Just to finish this one off then, Henlan is a village and community in Denbighshire, Wales, with a population of approximately 750 and lies in the countryside approximately 2.25 miles northwest of walled town of Denbigh. Don't know how to say that. The name is Old Welsh, meaning Old Church Enclosure. There you go, learned something. The population had increased to 862. Is it 750 or 862 then? A Grade 1 listed country house lies to the southeast. The Llyndair Inn, reputed to be haunted, dates to the 13th century. Henland is most prominent for the loudest fart that caught wind in UK history. In 1969, David Draig farted so loudly that the bell tower shook its foundations and almost collapsed due to the western winds produced. That's what we do, okay? So that's the final village. It was just something just to kind of pass the time, because this is obviously the longest podcast in the world. Check out the villages. I'll put their names in the description and their links. Add whatever descriptions you want. Even do some yourself, and maybe tag me in a picture on Instagram or YouTube. And that's gonna leave that segment there. But that's a bit of fun you can have with a few mates, or if you're bored at home, just to fuck things up. Okay, so finally I just want to rate this beer out of 69. So we had the Be Clouded Hazy IPA, Stewart Brewing. It's not my cup of tea. I'm going to give it a rating out of 69. I'll give it a 31. 31 out of 69. It's alright, it's okay. It's not, I like a little bit more hoppy. This is a little bit more, it's more like a wheat beer vibe, but I like something with a little bit more of an aftertaste. So guys, let's cut the fucking music. Sorry, the music's doing my head in now. That is the end of the podcast. Okay, thank you so much for listening. I really do appreciate that. If you've listened the whole way through, well done. Give yourself a pat on the back. Well done. It was more difficult for me, trust me. I hope you've enjoyed. If you want to subscribe, go ahead, please do. Please like, comment, follow me on Instagram as well. It's the KBeatBot podcast. You can also follow me on Snapchat. I'll put the link in that in the description, because I literally can't remember. I think it's Kelvin1. So KELVYN 1, the number 1. Thank you so much again for listening. I hope you appreciate the content that we put in about the Pokemon dealer. Thanks so much to Collectibles Guru for actually replying to me. I do appreciate that. It was very kind of him to reply back to my messages as well. And yeah, hopefully I'll be able to get another one of these out next week as well. If not, in the next couple of weeks, give me a shout if you want me to cover anything. And I hope that you enjoy the rest of your day, night. And yeah, we'll leave it there. Thank you again so much. You enjoy yourself and take care. Bye bye.